The conference room fell into complete silence. The CEO slammed his hand onto the polished oak table, his voice echoing through the executive floor. Who fired him? No one answered. Executives exchanged nervous glances while department managers suddenly became fascinated by their notebooks. The only sound was the quiet hum of the air conditioner. 3 hours earlier, Daniel Carter had quietly packed a cardboard box containing a family photo, a coffee mug with, "Best Dad Ever," written across it, and a faded notebook. Nobody offered to help. Most employees barely noticed him leaving. Daniel was known as the quiet single father in the accounting department. He wore the same inexpensive jackets every winter, drove an aging sedan with peeling paint, and spent every lunch break calling his 10-year-old daughter Emma. People assumed he struggled financially. They were wrong. Very wrong. Daniel had joined the company 2 years earlier under unusual circumstances. Despite having extraordinary qualifications, he accepted an entry-level accounting position. He never asked for promotions, never competed for attention, and never corrected people when they underestimated him. His manager, Victor Lang, hated that. Victor believed leadership required confidence, expensive suits, and constant self-promotion. Daniel's calm personality irritated him. When quarterly numbers unexpectedly improved because of Daniel's behind-the-scenes work, Victor accepted all the credit. Daniel said nothing. Weeks later, Victor blamed Daniel for an accounting delay that wasn't his fault. Again, Daniel stayed silent. Finally, after a minor paperwork misunderstanding, Victor marched into the office. "Pack your things," he said loudly enough for everyone to hear. "You're finished here." Daniel simply nodded. "I understand." No arguments. No threats. No begging. He picked up the picture of Emma, smiled softly, and walked away. Victor grinned. Problem solved. He had no idea that his career had just ended. An hour after Daniel left, the company's board received an urgent call. The caller wasn't angry. He simply asked one question. Is Daniel Carter still employed there? When they answered no, the caller paused. "I suggest you inform your CEO immediately." Within minutes, emergency board members gathered. Then the CEO arrived. He looked furious. Who fired Daniel Carter? Still no answer. Finally Victor stood. "I did." "And why?" "He was average. Replaceable." The CEO stared at him for several seconds. Then he laughed. Not because it was funny. Because he couldn't believe what he had just heard. "You fired the man who owns 18% of our parent investment group." Victor frowned. "What?" The CEO continued. "Daniel Carter founded an investment company 20 years ago." The room froze. He sold one technology business, invested in renewable energy before the market exploded, quietly purchased commercial properties across 3 countries, and now controls assets worth nearly $10 billion. Every face turned pale. Someone whispered, "Impossible." The CEO shook his head. He never needed this salary. So why was he here? The answer surprised everyone. He wanted a normal life. The CEO opened a folder. After his wife died 5 years ago, Daniel stepped away from public business. He wanted to raise his daughter without media attention. He looked around the room. This job wasn't about money. It was about peace. Nobody spoke. The CEO continued. "Our largest investors respected Daniel so much that they specifically requested his opinion on company culture." Victor suddenly looked sick. He was evaluating us. The CEO nodded slowly. Without telling anyone. Then came the final shock. The CEO projected an email onto the large screen. It had arrived only minutes earlier. "Thank you for the opportunity to understand your company from the perspective of ordinary employees. Most people treated me with kindness, and for that I am grateful. Unfortunately, several managers value appearances more than integrity. Because of today's events, my investment group will withdraw all planned funding. However, please do not punish employees who showed compassion. Especially receptionist Linda, janitor Mr. Brooks, security guard Anthony, and intern Sarah. They reminded me that character still exists. I wish them every success. Sincerely, Daniel Carter." The room remained silent. The investment, $3 billion. Gone. Victor collapsed into his chair. This can't be happening. But it was. Within 20 minutes, security escorted Victor from the building carrying his own cardboard box. No applause. No sympathy. Only silence. Meanwhile, Daniel was sitting on a park bench waiting for Emma to finish school. She ran toward him with a bright smile. "Dad, you're early." "I am." "Did something happen at work?" Daniel smiled. "I think it's time for a new adventure." Emma hugged him tightly. "As long as we're together." He smiled back. Always. Across the street, a black luxury car quietly waited. Its driver stepped out respectfully. Sir, the board would like another meeting. Daniel looked at Emma. What do you think? She shrugged. Can we get ice cream first? Daniel laughed. I think that's the better investment. The driver smiled. Of course, sir. As they walked toward the ice cream shop, no one passing by recognized the billionaire beside them. They only saw a father holding his daughter's hand. And to Daniel, that was worth far more than billions. Because true wealth isn't measured by the money you hide. It's measured by the people who love you when nobody knows who you are.